I do it to that one or this one.
Either.
I don't think I've ever had one of those.
You don't want to.
It does not taste good.
No, it's
So-
fire. This one's actually really good.
Imagine sparkling water. First off, not that good.
No.
Imagine the way that they flavored it is they took a little bit of strawberry, and if this is the can, like my knee, they did a. That's the way. They just kind of like
Just kind of drizzled in.
they didn't even squeeze. It's just like the smell of it. It's like,
We know
it's
what's
like
cool.
It's just like no
like
taste.
fanning the
Exactly.
smell into it.
That's what it tastes like.
No, I think quite literally that's what they do. Because if you read Waterloo, there's another water. It says naturally flavored, but this one is naturally essenced. So I literally think like when they carbonate it, they're just spraying like smelly air into it, but it tastes good still.
What?
No, it doesn't.
It has flavor. Some.
I mean, I guess it does. If you call that flavor, it does have flavor.
It has everything has a flavor.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
You said you had something.
First question I want to ask you guys: is a hot dog a sandwich?
Whoa. No.
We got one now.
I could see why you'd think it'd be a sandwich, but I have to go with no because the bottom's closed. Well, I guess Subway is.
Now I was about to say
Subway
Subway
sandwiches, though.
So I think it's just not. It's a hot dog.
Yeah, because you hold it like this.
Mhm.
But like, it's a piece of meat in between two
Yeah.
pieces of bread.
So like,
Okay.
this is gonna be very, very, very weird.
Yeah, I tried saying that without laughing too.
Can you demonstrate how you eat a hot dog? It's weird.
You can eat it either way. Like,
but you don't. You eat it. You always eat it like this. With the sandwich, you eat it like this.
Well,
I mean, if it's like a bratwurst or
But
something,
no,
you
it's a hot dog.
can double hand it.
I'm like,
No, you gotta get two.
But still, then I think you still eat it up and down. Where in a sandwich, you eat it side to side with the bread on top and
Well,
bottom. Hot dog, you still eat it
sandwiches?
side to
Well,
side.
you know, sometimes the hot dog bun like breaks in half, anyways.
well, think about this.
Yeah.
Sandwiches, I bring to my mouth, my head doesn't turn. Hot dog, I'm like
Exactly.
turning my
Like,
head
you eat it different. You
Yeah.
like you always like
because hot dog stuff sits on.
you do.
Hot dog, it sits on top, and if you turn it, it's gonna fall out. But a sandwich, it's already on its side.
Yeah, like sandwich is meant to
True.
be eaten on its side, and hot dog is it's.
But if you shred up that glizzy, and like just I don't know why you'd have a shredded hot dog, but then it would be a sandwich. Because it's
I
like,
mean,
it's
technically,
like
yeah.
pulled pork, but pulled
I don't know if
hot
it's
dog.
pork. I don't know if it's pork.
But what
Oh,
about when you guys were in high school? Did you guys ever have Johnny Ribs?
yeah,
What about
Johnny
those?
Ribs?
Those are like the same thing.
like the
as,
McRib.
like the McRib from McDonald's. It's like the same thing as a hot dog.
Same thing.
though.
How do you eat it? I don't know. I classified those in it's. I don't know what I just call them like hot dog style things.
I think it has to be this.
That's like a subcategory of sandwich.
I don't know about. If you call it a subcategory of sandwich, you're admitting that's just a sandwich, and I don't know. I think it's its own.
I am
branch.
saying a hot dog's a sandwich.
You are saying
Yeah,
that?
I
I'm not.
Well, something with the roundness, though. I feel like.
Yeah. Well,
It's just the way the meat's shaped.
I
could.
the way
That came out so bad.
the way I like think about it, it's just so like you have like two very very similar things: crocodiles and
This is not the
alligators.
same
Yes.
thing.
No, hey, pause.
How did we get on the
Go with it! Come on!
How did we get
So-
on this topic?
So they're not the same thing. So they're not a subcategory of alligator, but like they're very similar, and I think that's what it classifies like hot dog and hamburger.
Alright, so
hot
alligators
dog
and
sandwich.
crocodiles,
One,
they're both subcategories of the greater category.
yeah, but I don't know what this greater category is. It's just
Sandwich.
it's like American food.
Things that go between buns.
That's better. I like that. Things that go between buns.
That's a
Hot
very
dog is a
wide,
subcategory. Sandwich is a subcategory.
That's a very wide range, though, just between buns.
Between bread, probably.
Bread
because,
buns.
like, yeah. Okay. So,
Oh.
what was your final stance on this, Caleb?
Well, if it's like, it could be a category of sandwich, but it's not a just typical sandwich.
It's not a sandwich. You think it is a sandwich?
I'd say it's a type
I'm a very much no.
of sandwich.
Interesting.
Alright.
Well, wait, actually, sorry, keep going on this.
No, you're good.
A sandwich, even if, no matter what, you can hold it, and you can, like, flip it upside down and nothing's going to fall out. But a glizzy,
What
if
about,
you do that, it's going to, like, there's no way you can just hold it all without anything falling off.
what about like those deli sandwiches you see sold at in the UC and stuff and in gas stations? It's like a hot dog style bun, but with just shredded meat in it.
Also,
But like you can like
I don't know
I
if
don't
this
know.
changes anything. Whenever I use like ketchup on a burger, for an
obviously you
example,
don't put ketchup on.
I do. I take the bun off, put ketchup on, and then I close it on top. The condiments are just, for a better lack of better terms, raw dog in the air, and you just like
Lack of a better term.
you just touch in the air. It's like there's nothing, like no bun on top.
I know what you're saying, but
Yeah,
lack of a better term.
I don't know why I was
it
blanking.
depends how you hold it. If you hold it on the side, then it's on top
But
or the bottom. Well,
But the condiments are still gonna be on top. So
That's,
it's
that's,
gotta be
that's
touched
why
in
you,
the air.
that's why you take the dog out the bun.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Put the condiments in first, and then slap the dog on top.
Yeah, sometimes
Okay,
you just gotta grab the wiener and you just put the stuff.
All right,
in
see,
there.
I tried saying it without making it sound freaking.
But I do that too sometimes. You put it on the bottom.
My dad, he just like he takes the hot dog out, like spreads it around, or like put the condiments on, and puts the hot dog in, like turns the hot dog around and like smears it everywhere. I just think that's just evil. But,
That's what
Just
my
lubing
dad
it up.
does. Too.
yeah, that's just
It,
my
like,
dad
in a
thing, I
way.
guess.
Just
Yeah.
lubing it, yeah.
Okay, we're just move on from this topic.
I mean, I could talk about hot dogs for like, think about it. They're just so gross. Like, if you read the, not directions, the
Like how hot
ingredients,
dogs are made.
Yeah,
Have you seen those videos?
Yeah, what is
It's
actually?
I'll still eat them though, but
It's like mechanically separated, like pork, chicken, and I don't know if beef's in there. I don't think so, but like,
Well,
it's literally just mystery meat.
And it's
there
like
are some hot dogs where it's
separated.
like all beef hot dogs. What's in the
Those are
non
good.
all beef hot
it's just like other meats.
dog? That sounds
Those are
weird,
like
but it's like
mystery
it's
meat,
true.
man.
It
Shrimp
is.
dogs. Don't know if that's the thing.
What?
Like hot dog made of shrimp.
We can start getting wild.
This
With that.
is crazy.
What about vegan hot, like a vegan hot dog?
Is
I
it just
wonder
soy?
what that is.
I think all those fake meats are just soy with like somehow they make it taste like meat, but it's like just soy.
Dude, like I just if you are
It's-
that to that point where you're like, oh, I want to taste meat, but I don't want to eat meat.
It's glorified tofu.
Why?
I don't know
I know.
because it's not killing cows, I guess.
It tastes good though. All right, I'd rather not get into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, we'll move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the second one I had was would you consider fruit snacks candy?
Ooh,
No.
I don't think so.
What?
You do?
It is a gummy, sugary gummy. How is that not a candy?
There's no sour stuff on it.
Candy doesn't have to be sour.
Okay, name
But
a candy that's
Name,
like
name a candy like that's classified as a candy. That's a gummy that doesn't have sour stuff on it.
Dang, okay.
lifesavers. Also, it's like, but my argument is that you can't buy like that small. Like, I mean, you can, I guess, for Halloween. But, like, fruit snacks come in small packages because they're healthy. Or so like,
yeah, that's why.
you can't just buy like a
Mhm.
like at least at the store. I don't know. You know, does that make any sense? That argument?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. I wonder, like, if I go like get a package of fruit snacks and find a package of lifesavers, if I can look at the ingredients, or like not the ingredients, because it's just gonna be packed with like sugar and gum.
Sugary gummy.
But it's like I wonder, like, if you look, like, is the fruit snacks like healthier for you than the actual classified as a candy?
If they are, it's not by much.
Yeah.
Probably.
the best things are those like, it's like just fruit that's like flat. I don't know what they're called. It's like a little bar, but it's not a bar. It's like really thin, like
Oh,
pressed down like
like-
strawberries or something.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it.
They're so good.
Just called like fruit strips, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, those things are good.
They are. Oh yeah. Just a lot of sugar, but I mean it's natural sugar normally.
Mhm.
That's added sugar. I don't know.
All right, so we got into conversation really fast.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Mhm.
I thought about saying something funny, but I'm just gonna skip right over it. My name's Andy Hardin. I'm from Winsburg, which is a small town northwest of Decatur.
So this is your first year at Milken, right?
Yep. I'm a transfer from Richland.
All right, how you liking Milken so far?
I enjoy it. It's a lot more lively than Richland. Richland was freaking. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's just community college is depressing,
Really?
bro. Oh my gosh, it's like a bigger high school that no one
Knows each
is
other. Like,
present at.
interesting.
No,
Like you walk in and it is just empty.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
it is depressing.
Wow.
Maybe it's because I went there during COVID. Maybe that's
Mhm.
why. I don't think so though.
Yeah. So I was planning on going to Heartland,
Oh yeah.
in Bloomington, first off, they have like an actually decently nice campus, but it's like still weird. And I went to one like orientation class because like I was like, all right, I'm gonna go here. Like, oh, I could go to Millikan. I'm like, let me go to this class and see what it's like. And they literally treated me like I was a high schooler that was like too dumb to go to a normal college. Like I got that vibe from the teacher. It's like you're here not because you are trying to be smart and save money and then transfer to normal college. It's because you can't. You're dumb. That's
Yeah.
obviously like probably not what she was trying to say. Like
This is
like
probably
that. There's like the vibe. I was like, I literally went there the next day. I was like, yeah, I'm going to Millikan. I'm just not doing that. And if it wasn't for that, probably actually went there.
One with Richland. It's literally there's nothing around there. It smells like soybeans. And that's probably like
Because it's right next to
Yeah.
Staley's.
And if you're gonna go to Richland, you're going for the only reason you're gonna be there is for class. Like if you go to Parkland, at least you're surrounded by places you can kind of hang out on the campus.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's kind of things to do, and then you're like literally kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, being on Richland's campus. I just was not a fan of that.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't like if I was at Richland. I probably wouldn't go study in the UC or like go study in common areas if they even have areas like that.
It's you.
I don't know. I've never been
They have
there.
like when you walk in the main doors,
Mhm.
there's like this little gathering place. I guess is the UC. The most comparable place is the UC. There's like a little area. We play beanbags. They had beanbag set up, which was cool. A ping pong table. I actually played that in between classes a lot. That's how I got decent at ping pong.
Okay.
And then like there's this little area with a pool table that you can kids sit at and like hang out. But like kids doing that because it's Richland. And the other place was the library.
Okay.
Is there a gym?
Oh yeah, there's like I'd say it's probably comparable to the disc in size. I used it just a little bit. I just went to the disc instead because I would lift and then play basketball.
Oh yeah.
They don't have basketball courts.
Do they have teams there?
Mm-mm.
Nothing.
They used to, but they don't anymore.
Oh. Yeah. That'd be cool though.
It's
kind of cool.
Was the mascot?
The Knights.
Okay.
See, which really threw me off
also feels like high school.
because during all of high school, I thought they were called the Richland Rockets.
Oh,
that just has a nice
That is sick.
ring to it.
That does.
Richland, if you're watching,
Rebrand.
Rockets. Yeah.
that Richland Rockets.
That's sick. All right.
Oh wait, sorry. Are you related to possibly a Lane Hardin?
Who?
Elaine Hardin?
Oh, like Elena?
Or just Lane?
Oh no.
I had Elaine Hardin in my high school. He's a bull rider now, I think.
Yeah, I can't say I am.
I was just wondering. Because, yeah. Let's clear it up now. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say, so you went to Richland for 2 years.
Yep.
Then you went to not the boot camp. You went to boot camp.
Yeah, I went. Yeah, Air Force. I'm in the reserves.
Okay, and then so boot camp, and then you served or did something with the Air Force, right?
Yeah, so I went to Air Force. So I enlisted after I got my associates in science. I enlisted into Air Force Reserves. I was in the delayed entry program for a few months. Then I left for boot camp, and then boot camp was 8 weeks. I could talk about boot camp for hours, but I will spare you all the details. I have so many funny stories that I'll probably get into later. And then after boot camp, I got sent to Biloxi, Mississippi, which is around the coast, and I was there for about 3.5, almost 4 months. So I was gone for about 5-ish months.
Okay.
I'm down to hear some boot camp stories.
If you're willing.
Oh, dude, I love telling boot camp stories. Oh my gosh, boot camp was an adventure. So just imagine you're in San Antonio, Texas, in June and July.
All right, I'm imagining that.
Just imagine the weather. And I sweat so easy. You remember whenever I ran with y'all on the track, I was drenched. We ran like 3 120s. I just sweat super easy. But so there's that, and I remember we were on the bus going onto base, and we stopped like where our dorms are, and your little sergeant comes on with his hat covering his eyes. I'm in the very back, can't hear a thing because the AC's blasting in my ear, but all I do hear is he was talking normally, and then he just shouts, "Now get the hell off my bus!" And we all stand up, chop nail off the bus, and like I was the last one off the bus, which kind of sucked because as soon as I got off, there were 8 drill sergeants just waiting out there, and they're all screaming at me. I'm carrying like 3 bags, like just chugging along, trying to get to, they call them the dots, where you just like line up. You had to stand at position attention. Position attention is just like hands like this at the seams of your pants, feet at a 45-degree angle, like that. And then like they made us literally for 15 straight minutes drop our bag. Not fast enough. Pick it up. Drop it. Pick it up. And when you're in position of attention, you can't look around, you can't move. Head and eyes straight forward. They just make you stand like that, bro. Boot camp made me hate standing. I hate standing with a passion now.
I hate standing. Not because of boot camp. I think it was boot camp. I hate standing.
But one funny moment was on that first night, someone accidentally bumped into a drill sergeant, and he was like 3 people to my left, so I could barely just like glance over because the drill sergeant like quickly turned around. He's like, "Trainee, did you just assault me?" And all of a sudden, like this dude started stuttering. He's like, "No, drill sergeant." He sounded like Forrest Gump, bro. And then like this drill sergeant was in his face, and then like drill sergeants, it's like a shark frenzy. Whenever one is yelling at one, like they start coming in like a frenzy, bro. So he's standing, just taking it from the drill sergeant in the front, and then 2 other drill sergeants are like side by side. So he has 3. He's getting triple teamed right now, just all screaming at him. And I'm just glancing over, like, oh shoot, man, what did I sign up for? No, you go.
I was just gonna say, has that ever happened to you?
Yeah. Later, the opening night was a mess, bro, because I still was like in civilian mode is what they would call it. So we had to empty our bag, everything on our bed, and they had to search through everything. And he like pulled some out. First off, every time a drill sergeant spoke to you, you had to give this thing called a reporting statement, and it's a mouthful. So like my drill sergeant was Master Sergeant Bickhormer. First off, the last name Bickhormer is a mouthful. But every time, like, it could be a yes or no question. I had to stand at position attention anytime they spoke to me, anytime I want to give an answer. Master Sergeant Bickhormer, training hard reports as ordered, sir, and then I give my answer. I had to say that every time they spoke to me, man.
If you stutter, is it like?
Oh, dude, so as long as you keep your military bearing, like you stutter, show no emotion, and then just try again, they don't care. But if you're like, dang, that, like show anything, that's when they light into you. But whenever they were searching our beds, I had to give my reporting statement. Master Sergeant Bickhormer, training reports as ordered. Sir, my area is prepared for inspection, sir. Dude, I had to learn that in 30 seconds and say that. So obviously I screwed up the first time I said it. And he's just lighting into me. And then he goes, stand over there. And then I'm just watching him just ransack my stuff. And he pulls out something. I think it was my plane tickets because my mom wanted to keep them for scrapbooking or whatever. You know how moms are.
Yeah.
And he goes, do you want to keep these? And I look at him and I go, yeah. And he literally looks at me, he's like, oh, so that's what we're doing now. And he goes, I want you to scream at the top of your lungs, yes, Sergeant, until I tell you to stop. So for the next few minutes, I am just screaming, yes, Sergeant, yes, Sergeant, yes, Sergeant, yes, Sergeant. And he's just sitting there and he's like, looking at me going like that, like, and then he's deliberately going slow through my stuff while I'm shouting this. And then he's done and he goes, did we learn our lesson? And I go, yes, Sergeant. Just really instilling that in my head.
Do you ever laugh? Like,
Oh my gosh, dude! All right, boot camp was the funniest place. You were not allowed to laugh at. Like there was one time we had these. Oh, let me pull it up just so you can visualize like what the dorms looked like. But we had these things called wall lockers.
I've seen funny videos just of, I don't know what I think it looks like boot camp. Like one kid, they like at night bedtime. Do you guys have to like line up beside your doors? Is that a thing? This one kid like put on like a cowboy hat and some like I don't know doing something, but then it's funny because like the sergeant or whatever comes out and then it just cuts to him doing push-ups. I don't know. I thought it was funny.
So this is what this is exactly what my dorms look like.
Oh wow.
So like these are your wall lockers, your beds.
Oh my.
So your wall lockers. So they would always be like, everyone line up, position attention at your wall lockers. We were all standing there. Also, you had to memorize the Air Force song, the Airman's Creed. If you didn't have those memorized, you'd get smoked by the drill sergeants for it. But we were all lined up our wall lockers, and just, drill sergeant's walking down the center aisle. He's just saying his spiel, Air Force, I bleed USA, blah, 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 stuff like that. I can't remember what he was talking about. But this one kid, Trent Armstrong, kept screwing up. And the drill sergeant turns to us and goes, "Do you guys know what a trainee jukebox is?" And no one answered. It's dead silent. He goes, "All right, trainee Armstrong will demonstrate for us what a trainee jukebox is." And he's staying position attention at his wall locker. So wall locker's right behind him, drill sergeant's right in front of him, and drill sergeant goes, "Trainee Armstrong, do an about face." The about face is just like 180. So he's just facing his wall locker now. He goes, "Trainee Armstrong," and he's talking in a calm voice. "Trainee Armstrong, open your wall locker." Opened his wall locker. "Now climb in it." And he climbed in his wall locker. And so now he's just like this is his wall locker. He's like, "Now close it." And so he closes his wall locker. And this is because he didn't know the Air Force song. This is why he's picking on him. And he goes, and our drill sergeant pulls out his wallet and he, shuffling through it. He goes, "I feel like listening to the Air Force song." And he pulls out a quarter and slips it through the little crack. And you just hear the coin land in the locker. And he goes, "Play me the Air Force song." And so, nothing happened at first. I think Armstrong was a little confused because we honestly didn't know what was going on either. And all of a sudden, it's just silent. And he just starts banging on the locker. He's like, "Why am I not hearing the Air Force song?" Just starts banging, and you just hear the saddest, and it's echoing, the saddest. "Off we go." And then all of a sudden, someone freaking giggled. Someone on the other side of the room goes, and the drill sergeant just whipped his head. He whipped his head around, and he's like, "Oh, so we think this is all just a game, gentlemen. That's all right. I can play games. Everyone, on your face. Just get on. It's exactly what it is. Get on your face." So, and he's like, "Gentlemen, we are going to be pushing Texas today." That's what they like to say. Push up position, red up, down. Just start cranking push-ups down. Then 4 count flutter kicks. Oh my gosh!
Dude, was that kid still in the locker? Or did he
That kid was still in the locker the entire time. I forgot about that because he freaking mentioned because he got smoked for that too because he never told trainee Armstrong to get out of the locker. But then, after we were all doing our exercises, he's like, "Oh, since trainee Armstrong thinks he doesn't have to do the exercises, we are going to do them again." And so then trainee Armstrong, "Get out of there now." And he just climbs out and he goes, "Everyone, back on your face." And we
Wow. That's awesome
crazy.
story. That's funny.
Dude, just so many stories like that. It's so funny.
Oh my.
Because I know it's I know they're trying to kind of just instill those things into you, just the discipline, I guess. But it's just so funny how they do it. Like, obviously they don't want you to laugh.
Yeah.
But like,
There was, yeah, like the biggest thing is like just how well do you perform under stress. That's why they give you all these like mouthful words of things to say, like, and you have to learn it like that, and they expect you to mess up, but like, how are you gonna handle being under stress? Are you gonna fold, lose your military bearing, and just like you upset yourself, or are you gonna stay disciplined and try again? That's basically like the whole gist of it. But dude, back on topic of the stories, in my dorm there were the funniest names I have ever heard in my life. There was this one kid. This was a man. He was like 30 something. He looked like Lester from GTA. I kid you not. And his name was Banana.
What?
Not banana, banano. And on the first night when we were out of beds and we had to give our statements, he goes, "Sir, trainee Banana reports his order." And the drill sergeant cut him off and his eyes got wider. He goes, "Trainee Banana." Dude. Yeah,
What did he say? Just like, "It's banana, sir," or like, did he just?
No, he freaking goes, "It's pronounced banana," and then he got smoked for that. And then there was this other kid. He was built like a toddler. I kid you not. And his name was Duda Venata. And whenever we would go to the day room, it's just like this room next to our it's in our dorm. It's where they talk to us. We all just sit on the floor. Drill sergeant sits at his desk and he talks to us more like a normal human being in those. It's a little bit more lax, but when we'd go in there, we'd all sit in rows, and Duda Venata would sit in the corner next to the door. It was so awkward. And our drill sergeant was sitting at the desk, and he's just talking, and then he notices DV sitting in the corner, and he just kind of like stops mid-sentence. He's like, "You, what are you doing?" And DV quickly stands up, gives his reporting statement. And he goes, "Sir, trainee Duda Venata reports as ordered." And he just kind of looks at him and is like, "Duda what?" He's like, "Yeah, you're DV from now on."
Duda what?
Probably saved him a little bit.
Yeah.
That's wow.
That's insane.
I like these stories.
I do.
Oh, dude, the most like. So the one time I did get like chewed out in boot camp, we it was right after PT in the morning, so we're like just in shorts and a t-shirt, Air Force stuff, and during PT we have to wear these things called reflective belts. That way we don't get hit by cars when we're crossing the street or whatever. I don't know. Light reflects off them. Stupid Air Force rule. Never really agreed with it. But the thing with the Air Force, or in boot camp, the drill sergeants, they would let you fail first and then tell you why you failed by yelling at you. Okay. So they never told you the rules for anything. You just kind of had to learn it on the fly, learn from others' mistakes. They didn't explain anything. Oh. So where you go into the DFAC, the DFAC sucked. That's just where you eat. That's where the drill sergeants like went crazy. I've never heard so much yelling. There was this one drill sergeant. He was 6'8", Master Sergeant Carrico. Dude in the DFAC, his yell was so loud it shook the water cups. I kid you not. I kid you not. That was the loudest human being I've ever heard in my life. But in the DFAC, like, you're supposed to take off your reflective belts, but no one did because it's like first week we were there. Yeah. We didn't know what the heck we were doing. And I'm walking through, and this one drill sergeant, Staff Sergeant O'Neill, stops me. He's about as tall as me, but his arms are like as big as my thighs.
That's saying something. His thighs are kind of massive.
So like, imagine like, the girth of my thighs, like as arms and chest. This dude was a straight bodybuilder. And he got up in my face. He goes, "You stop!" And he got up from eating. And he gets up in my face, and because I still have my reflective belt on, and he goes, looks at my name tag, and he goes, "Trainee Hardin. Are you expecting to be hit by a car in here?" And I was so lost because I didn't even realize I had my reflective belt. I just thought, because I wasn't the only one. Everyone else still had theirs on, but I'm getting called out. And I just like froze. I didn't say anything back. And he goes, he starts snapping in my face, and he goes, "You're supposed to answer." And I gave my reporting statement. And I go, "No, sir." And he's like, "Then why do we have our freaking..." And he starts laying in me. "Our freaking reflective belts on, train." He just starts laying into me. And then he quickly like goes back into a calm voice. And he goes, "I bet mommy and daddy are real proud of their Air Force baby right now." And dude, like he said it in the most calm way and then just walked away. And like in my head, I just kind of stood there for a second. I was like, dang. I would have just rather him yelled at me. That kind of hurt.
I feel like it'd almost be less like when they're always yelling, and then all of a sudden they get just a real serious voice. It's like,
yeah,
you're used to like just kind of toning, like screaming out.
Yeah.
That's so. Yeah.
So I ask this because I'm curious. There's no offense to it.
Okay.
I've heard Air Force boot camp is the easiest. Is this a true statement? Do you know?
Compared to the others.
Others,
probably,
it is.
yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, "Oh, it's
Some
we're
people
the
be like,
hardest."
"No," and like
Nah, dude,
get caught up in all that.
I'll keep it real.
Okay.
Yeah, it's physically it is very easy. It's
Okay.
that in the Navy. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Navy and Air Force are both 8 weeks long. Same PT requirements, like certain amount of push-ups in a minute, certain amount of sit-ups in a minute, and a mile and a half run.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have the same requirements. They're both 8 weeks. They do different stuff than we do because we have different missions, blah blah blah, stuff like that.
Okay.
They're basically the same. So like it's a toss-up between either. I'd have to talk to someone who went to Navy boot camp, but it's a toss-up between those two. Like physically, it was a breeze for me. Like I was already in shape. Being on my feet for 16 hours a day though, because I was up from 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night.
No, thank you.
That kind of sucked. But physically as a breeze, mentally it was a drag. Okay. Now it's not hard mentally as like Marines because I have two older cousins. One was in the Army and one's in the Marines, and they've told me their stories, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I had the easiest."
So other than, I guess I know what boot camp is, but I don't at the same time. So obviously, other than a lot of screaming and a lot of yelling, and like, what did you do, like learning wise, for Air Force?
So we would have this like part called classroom time, where we would march to a classroom. We'd all sit in, and just like we had this big book of like the Air Force boot camp for basic on the front. And it's just like all the stuff you go through. I'm trying to remember. It's just like all the ranks, all like procedures, like when you walk into a captain's office, bro, like
just like weird stuff like that, not like
stuff you would not even think
obviously
about.
You're not flying a plane, so it's not
no.
How to fly
no flying planes, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, I'm pretty sure only officers fly planes. And like to get into that, AFSC is just your job. That is like really difficult.
I'm gonna say
like that's one of the most difficult. That and like air traffic controllers are some of the most difficult to get into. But yeah, I wasn't learning how to fly planes. It's just like the basics. That's why it's called basic training.
So if you're still in reserve technically right now,
yeah.
Or so if you were to be called right now, do you know what you would go do?
I mean, I would know. I would like if they were to
like an idea, like you're not gonna be flying planes.
No, I already have a job in the Air Force. My job, I deal with computers.
Like kind of on the back end.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not like out on the line doing
yeah.
stuff. I'm literally like I help edit websites and create web pages for them through this thing called SharePoint.
Mhm.
and like I do records requests and stuff like that.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah, it's very. That's why whenever I
you
went to
said
my
you
first few
changed.
classes for MIS, that's what it reminded me of.
I can't do this.
I can't do this for the rest
don't
of my
blame you.
life sitting behind a computer
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
cubicle. No thanks, man.
I feel that.
I already got my experience. Maybe it's because it's a military setting and just dampen the mood for me.
Mhm.
I don't know. I didn't like it though.
I'm not trying to. The one thing about working like inside somewhere, I just feel like working inside for like 30 years is just gonna suck because you don't.
Yes.
If you're like inside, you don't see the sun, like literally during the peak hours of the day, and then I just gotta find something that I like, or that's outside, I guess, or my own hours, maybe some sales.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've gotten to the point. There's like a quote, if you want to call it a quote, that it's like I would rather go out and like not be poor by any means, but it's like you could like go out and you could find a job that you hate but make like 6 figures like fairly easily. It's like like get over 100 grand a year, but it's a job that you don't like and like all this stuff for what like 10, 15-ish years of financial freedom possibly. Whenever you're 60 and can't go do anything, or like I can be like have the like not necessarily financial freedom, but it's like I can go out there and do things I enjoy, like have like live a life I like from the time I graduate until I turn 60, and still have like somewhat freedom whenever I'm there. It's just like I'm not gonna be able to like go live in the Bahamas for the rest of my life. It's like
I thought about
I can go do stuff now. It's like I'd rather than that like go out and do something I like and enjoy it, rather than sit down and do nothing behind a screen for 40 years, and then next thing you know, everything you do.
Well, even in some countries you can move to where the dollar is worth so much that like you couldn't like survive off like you have a lot of money and like when you do the exchange, and I don't know like Loki's been like I just gotta find somewhere like that, raise up like I don't know how much you would need, but I thought about that.
It's like because if I work remote now, it's like I can go like there's nothing. I don't think there's you can live anywhere. Like I can go live in a country like that,
Take a
make
remote
make
job.
the same amount of money I'm making in the U.S., but it's worth quadruple.
Yeah.
And then
The only problem would
As you
be
live in a
the
different country.
time difference.
Yeah.
and it also depends on like, where you go and like, all this stuff. It's just like it's interesting thought.
Very.
Well, anyway, what made you want to join the Air Force?
There's a multitude of reasons. I've kind of always thought about it. Both my grandparents were in the military. One was in the Army, and one was in the Air Force. And then, obviously, my two older cousins, one joined Marines, one was in the Army. And I graduated from Richland with an associate's in science. I was like, all right, I feel like a bum. So what am I going to do? Military, boom, something to like be proud of, I guess.
Yeah.
Like people see that and it's like, oh dang, you got a good job,
Mm.
Cool, yeah. And also like you're still young and already have that under your belt. Then like you're going back to college and like
Yeah.
it definitely looks like it doesn't look bad by any means. It looks good.
And it sounds cool.
It is cool.
It sounds cool. It's not that good, bro. It's a hassle. Yeah, I've gotten to the point where like on drill weekends, I'm just like, yeah, screw this. I don't want to go because it's all the way. Drill weekends are so depressing because it's all the way. Do you know where O'Fallon, Illinois is?
I've heard of it. I don't know where
It's 30 minutes east of St. Louis.
Oh yeah.
So it's 2 hours on the dot. Scott Air Force Base is from here. So I'll go all the way down there. I'm stuck in a hotel room by myself all weekend. I am at the base from 6:30 to 4:30. But 4:30 turned into 5. So like freaking, how long was that? 10 hours ish. In my unit, the next closest person in age to me is 25. I am 21.
Wow.
And it's a bunch of old heads that I don't relate to. And they are all like, they're all local, so they don't commute like I do.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is lame, man.
Yeah.
What do you even do with it when you go?
Well, like I just do my job and like get up to date on all the like credentials and stuff. and then we occasionally have some cool things that go on, but it's kind of boring. Like I mean, I get paid, but
How often do you have to do it?
once a month.
Ooh, so
Yeah, one week in a month. So like every 3 weeks, it's like there goes my weekend.
At least it's not imagine every weekend.
Oh my gosh, I would quit. I might as well be active duty if that was like. But I think about that sometimes. I'm like, holy crap! If I was active duty, I would freaking die. Like I would be so
That's
unhappy.
awful. Yeah.
Just going to work for 10 hours. Not 10 hours. I mean, it's 8 hours. From what my cousins have told me, it's 8 hours. But they always tag on like, "Hey, we gotta stay a little late, guys. Come on."
A little late.
For
And
USA.
then you don't get paid overtime, so it's like,
Ooh.
like whenever I saw my checks that I got for boot camp, I was pulling 16-hour days. I was like, oh, bank right now for 2 weeks. And I went in as an E3, so like those are the ranks like E1, E2, E3. Since I had 45 plus college credit hours, I went in as an E3, so airman first class. So I got paid a little more, which is nice. I looked at how much I was making. After 2 weeks of going through that, I didn't even make $1,000.
Oh.
I was like, what am I doing right now? And then the same thing for tech school. Tech school is arguably worse with the hours. Well, no, never mind. Because every minute of your day was planned out. But tech school, I would wake up at 4:30. We had PT at 4:45. Do that, be at class at 7. And then I'm there until 4:30. And then like you walk everywhere because you don't have a car. So I'm not back at my dorm until 5. And then I go eat at 5:30 and then go lift after I eat. So by the time I'm back in my dorm, it's like 7, 8. Go to sleep at 10. Wake up at 4:30 the next day, and I'm not even making $1,000 every 2 weeks for that. I'm like, this is garbo, man.
That's tough.
That is garbo.
So you said that like one of the is push-ups, sit-ups, and you said 1.5 miles?
Yeah.
1.5 miles. So we have a proposition for you.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
If you're telling me to go run 1.5 miles,
I'm not gonna like go run 1.5 miles. It's gonna be more like pole vault, throw, hurdle.
Oh, this. Okay. Jake was telling me you were gonna talk to me about this.
Being
a multi.
Yeah. So it's technically not like 1.5 miles. It's like a ton of other stuff too.
Yeah.
It's not 1.5 miles. It's I think the farthest
Yeah.
stream runs like a K indoors. I don't think, right?
I mean,
Indoors a K, yeah.
Indoors a K.
Yeah, I'd be down to try it. So I have been like long jumping with Jake.
Oh really?
Jake and Glenn.
Okay.
I haven't the past 2 weeks because I pulled my hammy.
I'll do it. Ugh.
I was running 100. So after football practice, I just stay on my high school's track and I would run some 100s, try to get faster. And my dumb butt, I was running 4 100s at 100%. Yeah.
How much rest?
Well, I gave myself like 5 minutes rest. But still,
right.
like this is raw. I haven't done this in a while. So like once I reach like 30 meters, that's like my cap limit. That's farther than a basketball court. I have short burst. I have short burst speed, but anything past that, I'm not conditioned anymore. Not like I was in high school.
Okay.
So my hammies, like I was feeling a pump, so I didn't like worry about it at first because like when you do like the hamstring curls at the disc or whatever, you get that pump in your hammies. They're just being worked right now, and on the last 100 is my 4th one. Last 20 meters, I just felt a pop.
Ooh.
And it felt it tight, and luckily no one, like I keep a very calm demeanor. I normally never cuss. Luckily I was the only one out there because I was like, sound like a sailor. I was like, what the why? Like I was beyond mad because I was like, of course this happens. Now I'm not gonna be able to do anything for like a week and a half. I was like, screw this, screw track. I'm not doing this.
That popping sound is always just not even just the sound. You just feel it. It's like
yes, and it just like tightened and crunched.
Yeah.
My hammies were looking at me like, "Who do you think you are?
and
You haven't done this since high school."
he did 4 at 100%.
Yeah.
And typically if you're training like top end speed, you really should be resting like
12 plus minutes.
Yeah.
See?
Full speed.
Raw. I didn't know any of this. Didn't know any of this.
Because I mean, you're built. I think you can. Is it disc and shot you throw?
Yeah, I think so.
There's
Yeah, there's some throws.
yeah.
man.
There's like
Javelins in there, I
two
think.
throwing events, if not 3.
Okay.
I think you'd be decent at. You have to high jump and long jump. I think you seem explosive. Like I don't know how I haven't
He
seen
played
you long jump.
basketball.
Yeah, like you play basketball.
I mean, like, so I got my unofficial time because I had my coach time me. So my unofficial time in tennis shoes with no blocks and 0 practice in 3 years, I got 12.4100.
4.
Which is like,
Yeah.
I looked at that, I was like, okay, that's not bad. But then I was like, that's not good either.
It's not necessarily good, but I don't want to say this without offending anybody.
Well, it's no blocks like you said. No
Mhm.
tennis shoes. Probably not as much training. And I doubt if you had a proper warm up.
I was going to say, well, I mean, like, I jogged a lap, kind of did the warm ups we did.
Okay.
So it is a decent warm up. It's more just like, dude, last time I ran a 100 like that was in high school. So it's
Yeah.
been 3
Yeah.
years.
I
So I wasn't expecting much out of myself.
so like obviously like I'm 100 runner, like I'm running
Oh, I know.
that. But
You
the
dusted me. I remember.
the multis aren't like there's not a single multi getting close to 11 flat, and so it's like because they're doing so much other stuff, right?
I was going to
So,
say, I was talking to Sarver,
Mhm.
and I was like, if I could just shave that down.
like a 12-4 with no blocks and tennis shoes with no practice, no training is not bad.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me. And I was like, yeah, if I could just like, because my best ever 100 was 11.71.
Like that
I was
would
like,
be decent.
I was
for
like,
multi.
if I could just shave it down to
Mhm.
just like 12 flat,
Mhm.
I'd be okay
Yeah.
with it. You know,
Mhm.
because then I could like, and then 100 with some other events. Like my long jump wasn't bad because I got like 16 and a half. It's the first time I've ever long jumped. 16 and a half. Not that great, I know, but like we're doing short approaches.
Okay.
So like I didn't run that much.
Yeah.
I didn't do like a normal long approach.
Let me.
And probably in tennis shoes still.
Yep, in tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Yep, in tennis shoes. But Jake said I had decent form, like for never doing like
Yeah.
the only thing that I really need to work on is like after you jump, like just relax and let yourself like go back like that.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I jump, I'd instantly go like that.
Which that is kind of a like especially newer jumpers, you don't really have to focus on like the hitch or the hang. A lot of them are just like you drive the knee,
Yes,
and then you
the
gotta just
hang,
hold
that's
it,
what it was.
and you can just like go like that. But yeah, there's like the hang, which is like where you're kind of like you said relaxing, and the hitch is where like cycling in the air.
Yeah.
And then also the hitch hang, which is like a half cycle, half hang, which is kind of what I do, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say we worked on like bounds, hangs, hitches where you just jump in, like try to get like one little
Yeah.
drive in there.
Yeah.
So the 100 for the decathlon outdoors. The fastest time was a 11.2. The slowest time was an 11.4. And so like there's also a very wide range.
We're talking about for the multi.
This is for at conference at multi.
So dude,
So,
I'm
like-
getting smoked. Like,
By the guy in first.
well, you
Look
just
at-
said
look
the
at the
slowest time was 11.4.
No, the slowest time was a 12.4.
Oh, okay.
So like you're not getting smoked, like, and that's with these guys are in blocks with spikes with training year round,
Okay.
right? So it's like obviously you might not be up there with the North Park kid, but
Yeah. I mean, I
you're
could
still gonna be able to
I
like,
could
compete.
slowly like shave off a little bit.
Exactly.
It just takes
Mm.
time. And obviously, I
I mean,
got
even just putting on spikes, I think, would take that down.
yeah. I don't think I'm gonna sprint for like another week.
I don't.
I mean, I was able. I played basketball last night.
Okay, that's good.
You know, like
Mhm.
an intense one-on-one game. And I was like, okay,
Mhm.
I can be explosive right
That's
now.
good.
I'm just
It's
not.
not gonna sprint 100.
Yeah, I'm not sprinting though.
I can think clearly now.
So it's like there's 100 long jump,
For decathlon.
Yeah, someone fouled 4 times, 3 times, or however many times it is decathlon. The longest was 21.6. Shortest was 16.7.
Dang, and I did that. I did 16, roughly 16.7, and with a short approach.
Exactly.
So
So like
tennis shoes.
Yeah.
men's shot put,
I've never done shot put
Yeah,
or
I
disc,
don't
so
know. High jump.
but I know all that's technique. Same with high jump.
High jump, it's like you're also explosive. Like that'll help.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
high jump, just dude. I don't know.
it's a different animal, but it's
That's
like
a different. I know.
If White House, if you like were to actually do it, and if anyone can teach you, it's White House.
That's what Jake.
And you start with indoor. Well, I guess you would indoor is less events, so you wouldn't have to do them all on the first time. But it's
Just save me for outdoor. Let me train, man.
You could do that too.
There's a 400. There's 110 hurdles. Hurdles are gonna be the hardest, I think.
Do I have to do the hurdles?
I mean,
Do I have to do all those? Because I remember
there's 10 events.
who was the who's your other multi that Jake was telling?
Totally.
Yeah, Hoadley. Because I looked up his stuff and he'd only do like 3 events every.
Yeah.
meet.
So you only do this one at one meet at a conference.
Oh, you do every event once at one meet.
No. You do
Or-
you do all 10 events at conference, but most other meets they don't have a decathlon, so you only do like 3 or 4.
Oh,
we don't
okay.
think- normally meets,
Mhm.
like, especially D1 meets are like a day or two, and we don't really have any meets that are like
A day or two, other than like
all 2 days besides conference. So we don't really get you don't really get a chance to do all the events. But then we have like last year, and then sometimes they do like 5 events. They're just like kind of
Mhm.
practicing, like to get ready for
Yeah.
conference to do the decathlon.
Yeah.
So you have to do it at least once. Now,
I just DQ, man.
dude, as long as you get over them, you score points.
Okay.
You finish.
Okay.
Someone did it in 21 seconds. 110 hurdles.
Yeah.
I would start at 200 and beat them by the time they get over hurdles in 110. Then discus. I think that's just kind of form technique.
Yeah, I just have to try it.
Pole vault.
I don't like heights, man.
Javelin.
Just throw it,
Yeah.
right?
Those 3 throws.
Isn't
or
Oakley
spear.
doing javelin?
Yeah.
Isn't that like just what he's doing?
That's like he's probably gonna do hammer indoor, but like he's primarily jab.
Is he good at it?
It
Or
sounds
is
like he's
this
doing
or is
decent.
this like his first time
This is his
ever?
first time ever doing it.
See,
Sounds like he's already decent.
I'd like to try something like
Yeah.
that.
And then the 1500.
Hey man.
I didn't know
That's
that
less
was
I'm
than a
not
mile.
built for the distance.
And a lot of these people aren't either.
What are their times?
There is and first a 4:56, barely breaking 5 minutes,
But it's also at the end of value 10 events. I think it's the last event.
and then last was a 5:46.
Dang man, I'm pretty sure like right now I'm getting like a 6:05.
Is that all out,
That's a
though?
mile. You
And it-
run a little bit shorter.
Oh,
Especially
it's a little bit.
It's 100 meters shorter, but like 100 meters is actually good. You surprised like how much time that actually is in a 15.
And once you run with people, if you're competitive, that's just gonna make you run faster.
And if you like,
See, do I look like I'm built for a mile though?
No, you
No.
but you're
Joey.
built for everything else.
You've seen Joey, our old guy Joey. He was insane. He was pretty buff too, and he used to run cross, but then he got buff.
Mhm.
He started long jumping well. He could do the distance and the sprints.
Mhm.
Went to nationals, right?
Yeah,
Went to nationals. You're kind of built. He was just a little bit shorter than you. I think.
it's like it's one of those things that if you were to like get good at even like a few of those, like you could actually do decent at that kind
Might
of.
as well try, man.
Yeah.
I'll give you Coach Cray's number right now.
And absolute worst case scenario, you're like, oh, I just want to jab. You're not gonna say no to another jab thrower.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
Or like even if you don't want to like try stuff out, like hey, like I don't know, like
I was gonna say because I got like all this time.
Yeah.
From now, I just don't know like when practice. When y'all do that.
It's always
3:30 ish.
it's always changing low key too.
Yeah.
It's because there's so many different groups of people that can.
Anywhere from 2 to about 4 is the practice start time.
Like the ideal times.
Yeah. Because I know throwers go around
They start
random times.
3, I think, is what Danbury said.
Sometimes when I go out there though, like I go out there and run around like 1-ish because when I have days I have class or whatever, And Danbury's already out there, and then coach will show up a little bit after him.
Like, the Danbury shows up like 15 minutes early.
So probably it probably is around like 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Okay.
It probably just started at 2.
Probably too.
I just think I'd get there earlier. Why not as early as I can? But yeah.
So you said how you're still coaching, right?
Yeah.
Got a game tonight?
Nah, it's tomorrow.
No?
Yeah, it's surprising,
Saturday
right?
night?
Yeah,
Interesting.
so this was made at the beginning of the season because there's a reffing shortage. So our game's tomorrow at 2.
Okay. Who against?
Tuscola.
How do you feel about that?
Well, we're both 3-4.
Okay.
We need to win out to make playoffs.
How many more games are left? 2.
Dose.
Okay.
So we're both 3-4, pretty evenly
Both on
matched. Huh?
Like both need to win this game.
Yeah,
so
we both
it's
need
gonna
to
be
win
a-
this
it's a big
game.
Okay.
So, and it really sucks because there was this game earlier in the year, it's our third game against Sherrard. Should have won.
Mm-hmm.
Just shot ourselves in the foot early on. Never came back. So it's like, man, if we had that, we'd be sitting pretty comfortable and only need one of these 2 games. But now it's like we need these
Who
2.
do you guys play next after this?
Chester.
Who are you coaching?
Warrensburg Latham High School.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
But Chester is 3 hours away or down south.
That's tough.
Yeah. That's going to be a long
Mm-hmm.
But for varsity, I just help with the running backs. I'm the running backs coach. And then for JV, I'm actually the offensive coordinator.
Oh.
JV is so fun because I get to I call about 90% of the plays.
Who does the other 10%?
It's our head coach's father. So our head coach is Coach Fricky.
Mm-hmm.
He was my coach when I was in high school. And his dad, we call him Coach Elder, just like he's the Elder Fricky. And he's like coaching football for 40 years, super knowledgeable, but he's kind of just taking a back seat on this and helps me when I need to.
That's what we had. We had our head coach, Coach Z, and then we had Big Z, which is his dad, which was like the football coach before he was.
Yeah.
It's like his kid took over his job. But it's like he's kind of just there sometimes. He does stuff with the line. Sometimes he'll help with play. It's just whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly what he does. So like the 10% he calls is always in tight game situations, and he'll just like draw stuff in the dirt.
Really?
Like
That's awesome.
Stuff that we don't have on the play sheet, but he'll just freaking pull it out of thin air.
Wow.
Like you here, blah blah blah, and I'm just sitting there like, dang.
That's cool.
All right.
Yeah.
It's 3rd and 5. You need 5 yards. It's like you need to get this first down.
Okay.
Like go.
Well,
JV.
it really depends like what's been working this game.
That's true.
So like,
say this past game.
All right, so if we're going off this past game, 3rd and 5, I'm probably calling. Doesn't matter which. Let's just say it's in the center.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on a specific hash. Probably gonna call sprint right, doubles right, sprint right, pylon. So what that is, doubles right, have my X and Y receiver line up on the right side, sprint right, so it's a sprint out for the QB with the running back lead blocking. The Y receiver is running a corner out, so like about 7-8 yards, break it to outside. And then the X receiver's running a hook route, so it's about 10 yards, cut back in. And so to the right side, because my QB's right-handed, makes it easier to throw. Either that corner route's been open so many times in JV because we have like a 6-foot kid at Y. And then that hook route, if the corner route's now open, both those DBs will go in that corner and that hook route's open sometimes.
It's JV's, so.
Dude, it's so fun doing JV because like I just abused one place. Like literally.
So my junior year, I played JV sometimes, and it was we have one game a year that's just a random team.
Yeah,
and it's like
I know exactly what you mean.
You know, whatever. And for some reason, we played South Fulton. Like 3 hours away in the middle of nowhere. They played their entire varsity team against the JV, but they switched everyone's positions. So it was like they played in just random positions, and so like, and it's like that plus like something like call and go, you know, and the guy who's normally coach his coaching style, long trap left, long trap left, long trap left, long trap left, long trap right, long trap. It's the same things. Like it's just only we were like a big running only school.
So were you guys like Wing T.
Yeah, we know that normally that every once in a while we would like go spread and still
I'd say
run,
we're
just
like-
bring someone out, like kind of run like slide traps or like run like a little bit to the outside. And
Yeah.
it's just, like,
I was gonna say we're spread out. We're a pass heavy team.
I wish. And this game it wasn't our normal, like it wasn't that guy. It was like he was one of the coaches that like, everybody loved. He was my science teacher, and like the other coach didn't love me and like wouldn't use me at all in passing, and like this one was like confident in like my skills at the very least. Like he was like he could get it done. It's like all right, nothing was really working. Big boys on the line that like normally wouldn't be on the line.
Yeah.
And so like like let's run a tight end dump. Tight end dump worked first time. Go to the touchdown and do it again. Like all right, we run a little bit. And like okay, this isn't working. Tight end dump. Do it again. This isn't working. Tight end dump. Do it again. And then it got to the point they brought one of the linebackers just to go man on me and stand where I was standing.
Yeah.
And then like I would just pick like just do something and then like stand right in front of him and then just still catch them. Just like that coach was like, all right, nothing else is working. I didn't know. It's so fun.
That's what. So there's been two JV right now. We're 5-2, which is awesome.
That's good.
And 2 of those games. So the first game we had a comeback win. 3 minutes left. We're down by 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. We score. Get a stop on defense, and now we're down 4 points with 58 seconds left. And I literally just called it. Worked earlier in the game. I was like, let's just go trips left, look for the money, which is just 4 verts, look for the Z fade because he had a mismatch, and just our QB scrambled to the right, wide open, just and we won off that, which is crazy. And then this past Monday, earlier this week, we had a comeback win. We were down 3 with 2 minutes left, and I have a 6'3" receiver. So, and he was the corner on him, like this much of a size difference. So I would call just like doubles and this play called truck. It's just everyone run hitches, but I would tag like a Z post or Z fade, and ran that. He got 30 yards on it. Like hot sauce, running again. Same exact play, got it again. And I'm like, man, I'm just picking on this freaking DB now.
Like that, it sounds bad, but that's kind of just what you got to do. Like,
oh yeah, if it's working, and then they started double teaming him, so that freed up my other receivers to be able to do stuff.
I like watching a lot more when there's passing. I go to high school games.
You're gonna hate this game.
High school games, and they
tonight.
only run.
You're gonna hate the game tonight.
When my class played football, I didn't play, but they were really good, and it was just fun because they actually had a good mix of passing and running. They were good, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this. But then I go to other games, and I'm like, run.
My sophomore year would have been your senior year. First play of the game, you guys scored on us. First play of the game.
It happens a lot. Don't worry. At least back then.
First play of the game, score on us, and then we're like, oh, we have a chance. For some reason, like we can at least make it like a good game. Scott could score on the first play. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
On varsity, we have this receiver. His name's Cottrell. He makes the most absurd catches I have ever seen. This is one of the touchdown catches he had.
Oh wow!
For someone.
That's sick.
And he just casually does that at
He's
least
just
once
floating.
a game.
Oh my!
At least once a game. And he's 6 foot. Like he's
not tiny,
super tall.
He's not like mossing like just
He's
the height we can just stand.
He's so athletic. It's nuts.
Wow. Well, is there anything else? Okay, we had a very good.
Well, I mean, we always gotta ask this at the end, I guess. We always bring it up, but I guess we've been going for a while, but we always try to talk about people's faith. So I just kind of want to know about like your faith journey, like maybe where you started, how you're doing now. Like we don't need the whole. I mean, we can have the whole life story.
Yeah.
But,
So, like throughout high school, I was a Christian, quote unquote. You know, like I went to church every Sunday, and that was it. Like I didn't do anything past that. You know, just because high school or whatever. Like didn't take it that as serious as I should, but then I go on to college. Kind of the same thing. Is COVID is really weird because you couldn't go to church.
Yeah.
So, but my faith really grew when I was at boot camp because all I had were like my brothers that I made there, and then God. That's it.
Yeah.
And every Sunday you were allowed to go to a church service, which is awesome. It was just like an emotional release. You really felt in tune with the Lord. And I told Colin this story about how my best friend from boot camp, his name's Justin Hiltz. He his locker was right next to me, so we became best friends. He had never been to church, and me and a few others convinced him, hey, Sunday, it's our day off. Just come to church service with us. What you got to lose? And after a bunch of like pleading with him, he finally agreed. And so every Sunday we go church service, go Bible study afterwards. And it was really cool watching his transformation because he started to fall in love with it. He started to get into like praise and worship. He stayed after and would talk to the pastor and was just like watching his faith go from 0 to like wanting to get baptized was
That's
amazing
awesome.
to witness.
Yeah.
That
is awesome. I feel like watching people, other people grow in their faith always makes yours like stronger.
Yeah.
Especially when they're like your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was awesome to watch, and like I had never been like a big praise and worship guy. I'd always just like kind of just stand there awkwardly, just like maybe mouth the words.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But during boot camp, like it reminded me of Vada, like whenever it was filled during that opening week, and everyone was into praise and worship. That's what like imagine that like times 10 because there's like so many people at boot camp going to that church service, and everyone was getting into it because everyone was getting into it. Everyone was getting into it, praising the Lord, which is awesome. And then like came back home, kind of stayed going to church, but at the same time, not really, like, because still kind of the COVID stuff, I guess. But then my faith got tested. It was, I made all these friends in boot camp, but became best friends with them, got split up. That sucked. Went to tech school, became best friends with them, got split up. That sucked it again.
Yeah.
Come back home. I'm down at Sky Air Force Base there for 2 weeks before I was able to go home. I was like, well, got no friends here. This sucks. Everything's just sucking lately. And then I finally came home, was really happy, met up with my old friends, hung out with them, and I was like, these are not good people. After being away from them for a while, it's like, these are not great people. They were very racist and homophobic, just stuff I didn't want to be associated with because one of my best friends from tech school, he was Korean, and like one of my old friends said something about like Asians, and I was like, dude, like, why?
Why?
And it like I just never understood how you can just feel that way or act that way. And so I stopped talking to them. So I still had a girlfriend, but I had no friends. And it was like, But here's the tricky part. I did not love my girlfriend anymore. I probably should have broken up with her. Before boot camp when I look back at it.
Yeah.
But I stayed with her. Like, I wasn't a douche. I still cared. All right, hold on. Let me defend myself. I still cared about her. I just didn't love her in a relationship way.
Yeah.
So I'd still hang out with her. It was more like just friends. And, got a little weird because she started asking questions about it, and I was just like,
Yeah.
But she was like deeply in love with me, and I didn't feel the same way because like our relationship had zero Christ in it, so that's like a big factor too.
Yeah.
And she wasn't really.
Yeah.
But I stayed in a relationship with her because I was scared of being really alone. Because I wasn't in school. All I was doing was working. I was helping coach middle school basketball and middle school track. But like I wasn't at school seeing people every day.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang, I'm really like scared of being alone now. But eventually the time came. I broke up with her. I want to repeat myself. That sucked. This whole past year has been year and a half has been full of a bunch of sucks.
Dang, that sucks.
Yeah, that's been, I've repeated that so many times, but breaking up with her sucked because just I still cared about her.
Yeah.
You know, but I just selfish for me to stay with her.
Yeah.
I didn't love her anymore, so I should have ended that a long time ago. And I've apologized about that and told her about that after I reflected on it for a while. But then I was really alone, and my faith was shaken because I was upset. I was depressed. I was angry. I was like, why God? Why me? Why have you done this to me? What have I done? What have I done to deserve this? You know, I was just upset. I was bitter. So that whole like summer I spent just like slowly building back up on my faith, which took a lot of work. It wasn't just slowly building back up. It was like it was a roller coaster going up and lots of ups and downs, but it was consistently going up. And then like when I started going to the Avada movements with you guys here and all the FCA stuff and going to different churches with you guys, that's when it like really exploded and I really got back into it, which has been awesome. I've never felt this close, you know, to Christ since Bootcamp, which has just been awesome.
That is awesome.
Awesome. But it has been filled with many trials too, to say the least, and God has tested me by giving me some trials this semester. Basically seeing like, oh, am I gonna turn my back on him again? Or am I gonna just like, you know, give him all of my worries and anxiety and sadness and all that, and just put all my faith and trust into him? Which I've been pretty consistent for the most part. I've like, there's been times where like obviously I haven't because I'm not perfect. No one's perfect, you know, except for Jesus. But I've been doing a decent job. Oh my god! Oh my gosh! Voice crack. I felt like a freaking 7th grader. Need a sip of water.
But it's crazy how just trials can just can be used either to like just bring you so much closer to Christ, or you can like let them like push you away. But I feel like a lot of the times they always end up just kind of, in a way, at some point it brings you back, and then you have a chance to reflect and realize that everything happened like was to like bring you closer somehow. Yeah, it always seems like to work out that way, which is cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. We're glad that you're here and on campus and able to do stuff with us.
Yeah, I've had a blast so far.
Yeah, now I've joined the track team.
Yeah.
More of a blast.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. What should we call it there?
I think so. It went a little longer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably our longest one.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
there's a lot of funny moments.
Ooh.
There's a lot of funny moments. No, I was just saying there's a lot of funny moments in this.
No, I was gonna say we always end with one thing.
What's that?
Perfect dab.
Perfect dab.
Perfect dab?
Dab.
Oh, dab. I thought you said dab like that. I was like, what, are we all going to dab? What is this, 2016 again?
We can do that too.
Ooh.
But yeah, perfect dab. All right.
No.
Yeah, we got to do that again. Oh,
that's pretty solid.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.